One of the women in their little cameo said, we're freaks when we're married. And I thought, okay, if you're freaks when you're married, why aren't you going out and getting things spicy in the bedroom with your husband if that's what you want?
I'm Amy.
I'm April.
Certified sex educators, sexperts of the year, and best-selling authors.
And we're on a mission to help you have more spicy, connected, and amazing shameless sex.
Welcome to the Shameless Sex Revolution.
We're so close, it's like we have our own language. We're making sex and relationships shameless.
To learn more, go to shamelesssex.com.
And for 15% off some of our favorite sex toys, use code SHAMELESSSEX at purepleasureshop.com.
You are listening to a pleasure podcast. For more from our sex podcast collective, visit pleasurepodcasts.com.
Well, hello, everyone.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome back to the Shameless Sex Podcast. This episode with Erica Lemke is Anal August. You actually did ask an anal question in this. It's about religion and sex and religious shame or shame in sex. Didn't you ask like the soaking question?
Probably. Oh, I did.
Oh, maybe that's not anal.
It was about anal, and it was about, listen up because I'm not going to spoiler alert this portion, but it was about Mormons utilizing anal sex as ways to help them keep their virginity, which she debunks. And this isn't only for folks that are Mormon or post-Mormon religion leaving or Christians or any, and you could be Islam, you could be you could be Buddhist, you could be atheist. This is about how religion does affect our sex lives.
Yeah. And just shame in general is a biatcha.
Conditioning of the sex lives.
I know. Why she has a job, we have a job. A lot of people have jobs. Yeah. It's
Speaking
some
of
heavy business.
Jobs, though.
Oh, tell me about your jobs.
So the job doesn't feel like a job.
I know.
The retreat.
Yeah.
Which we have plugged every episode since we booked the spot, and it's this epic villa, and we want you to come with us, okay?
Do you want to come with us?
And you can come there, but in your own bedroom because it's not a sex orgy. It's not a sex party.
No. It's
basically Shameless Sex helping you drop in to your most sexy, elevated, pleasure-driven self. But it's not even all about sex. It's about being your best self.
Yeah, relationships, communication, community, because you'll make all of your new best friends, including us. And it is a joy, as April said, for us to curate and be a part of. And it's almost full.
It's almost full. We also have some incredible sponsors, including Wicked, including Sport Sheets, including Magic Wand. And that means that not only do you get some incredible gifts that are going to be included in your welcome
bag.
Keep
on giving, you're saying?
But you also get to be a part of something that's really special to the wider audience that can't participate in our retreats yet. You also get to have some really great information and access to those products as well. So
come.
Yeah. Go to shamelesssex.com.
Come with us.
We want you. Come hither. Go to shamelesssex.com. Look at our event section. We have one retreat scheduled right now. It's September 11th through the 14th. We'll have more info, but more in 2026. But I would go to this one because the next one is not yet set in stone. It will be in the spring.
Early May, yeah.
Yeah. Spring-ish, yeah.
Do you think we can get shamelesssex.com?
It's not really a thing yet. But someone might scoop that up now that they hear this.
La, 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 la. We're going to go right now and find this because we have a week out. Okay, ready for a sex question?
Yeah.
I like this one because it speaks to everyone because lube is for everyone. I recently went into a sex shop to buy some lube and got completely overwhelmed. All I want is a good lube for sex, but there are so many types and I was afraid to ask the employees for help. Can you make it easy for me and just tell me what lube I should buy?
This is not an Uber Lube plug, although we love Uber Lube. This is about other lubes that people ask us. Wait, what about if I can't use Uber Lube because I want to use it with my sex toys?
Yeah.
What if I want to use Uber Lube, but I want to use a water-based lube instead because I want water-based lube?
Yeah. Yeah. So 3 types of lube 3 general types, right? So water-based, it's water soluble. You can use it with all toys. Your skin absorbs it, goes into your bloodstream. Doesn't last as long, but it works with everything. It's like one of the easiest lubes to use. Yet if you are someone that is very sensitive, meaning like mostly pussy owners, that could be a problem for you because it's going to your bloodstream and then it gets sticky and tacky, but not all of them. We have some recommendations for good ones.
Silicone lube can't really be water-based. I've experienced, right?
So then there's silicone lube, which is Uber Lube is a silicone brand, and all they do is silicone lube. So it doesn't go into your bloodstream. It dissipates on your skin. It stays silky, it's long lasting. And one of the issues is you cannot use it with all of your silicone toys. Then there's hybrid, which you're speaking to.
Oh, that's a hybrid.
So we put water-based and silicone together. Not we, 'cause I didn't create that. And we have a really actually a wonderful reference for a hybrid lube brand that we love. That is longer lasting, doesn't do the sticky tacky, and you can use it with sex toys as well.
And Jessica Drake
Yeah.
is a spokesperson / one of the amazing creator. She helps create a lot of the campaigns. If you don't know who Jessica Drake is,
She's amazing.
check her out. She looks just as fabulous in person, and also she's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
She's wonderful. So yeah. She's an
And she's
amazing
a porn star,
educator.
but also educator.
Yeah.
So
And the last one is oil. Very rarely do you see oil-based lubes. You think of massage oil, but there are oil-based lubes generally for penises. Like I think boy butter and a lot of those things are like it's oil-based. They last a long time. But if you have a pussy, it can cause yeast infections. It can be very problematic.
no can do.
No can do for these pussies. So there's also flavored lubes as well.
So that one was what I was talking about. So the hybrids can be flavored, but then water-based mostly is flavored from what I remember when I use flavored lubes. And I've used a lot of flavored lubes, but I don't remember looking at if they're silicone hybrids.
So to reverse that, flavored lubes would be water-based.
Right.
There's water-based that's not flavored. And then, but all flavored lubes are most flavored lubes are generally water-based.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And not hybrids.
Not hybrids, and there probably are some, but so they're like these, I guess there's 4 categories then of things.
Yeah.
But so then the flavored lubes are water-based. But here's the thing about flavored lubes. Even if they have like stevia in them or whatever, we don't have glycerin.
I hate fucking stevia though.
I still don't want that in my pussy.
No. I don't want it anywhere. My coffee, my pussy. Sorry.
Mine is not about my hate for stevia. Mine's more like I get yeast infections really easily. So
I just don't like it. I don't like it.
You hate stevia, yeah.
I don't
what about
like
monk
it.
fruit?
Don't like it.
What the one that starts with E? Not aspartame. It's the
Don't like it.
Yeah, I know.
I guarantee you.
She's a sugar girl.
But wait, so like legit, straight up, just give me straight up honey or maple syrup or regular.
Not in her
brown
pussy
sugar.
is what she's saying.
No.
Yes.
No,
So with all these things, so this person wants the best lube for sex or a good lube for sex. Our go-to would be Uber Lube. We love
for silicone.
For silicone. Shake and bake, ride or die, but just don't use it with your silicone toys.
Don't use it with sex toys. Use that for.
You can use it with stainless steel and
Yeah.
plastic and stuff, but just
But for
not.
the most part, when people have their toys,
They're silicone.
most of them are silicone.
Yeah.
But Wicked, which they have the hybrid that you were talking to, that's toy compatible. So we talked about, obviously, Uber Lube, we've talked about for, I don't know, forever, even
'Cause we
before
love
this
it.
podcast.
Yeah.
But Wicked, we've been a fan of, and we love their hybrid. It's toy compatible, and then they have some new formulations that are great for folks that have perimenopausal stuff happening or menopausal stuff. And it's called Timeless, and Wicked is just how it sounds. And then they also have their flavored collection, which we haven't had the opportunity of talking about in the show yet. But now that we're working with Wicked for not only the retreat, but for the rest of the year. Because
Also just for my mouth because it's delicious.
it's like the salsa. Wait, okay, so what? I think we have the same like desire.
We do.
For the same
I asked you. I was like, "What's your
taste.
flavored lubes? Your favorite? Is it like fruit based or more like chocolate and salted caramel?" And you're like chocolate and salt. And I was like, "Me too."
And the vanilla.
And the vanilla.
But
yeah.
salted caramel you love, you always have. And then the chocolate things, it depends. Sometimes when it's close to my period, I'm like, I want chocolate.
So we sell all this at purepleasureshop.com. And when we had the brick and mortar, we had the Wicked salted caramel. And
Yeah.
when I was just bored or hungry, I would just put it on my hand, lick it, and it was
Ice cream.
delicious.
Put it on some ice cream, beep, beep, beep. And not on your pussy, but just put on ice cream as
Yeah.
like a little vanilla ice cream with a little salted
Yeah,
caramel
a little hint. So flavored lubes at the end of the day for the body minus pussies. You can put it on a cock, nipples. If you put it on a cock, I would still wash it before it goes into pussy in case someone is super sensitive. But they're super fun. They taste delicious.
I think it is. From what I know, if you're super sensitive, be careful, do a test. But from what I know, it's pretty much designed for you to have in your body. The flavor
Totally.
from Wicked.
I'm saying for like super sensitive people.
Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise like
That
yeah.
some people are sensitive to silicone in general. Like those people, just be careful.
Yeah.
You have to do a taste test in your
Yeah.
mouth, but then also do a tiny patch test on
Like,
your genitals.
on your bitch.
Yeah.
But not like a full genital test.
No.
That's too much
No.
commitment. So it depends on what you're looking for, right? If you have a bunch of silicone toys, then maybe Uber Lube wouldn't be your thing. If it's more for sex, Uber Lube. If you have silicone toys or you want something that is a little more like water-based, water soluble, but still hybrid and lasts longer, the Wicked Simply Hybrid or the Timeless, which is an awesome product. I just saw it the other day. And then if you want some flavors, Wicked flavored lubes, we love, as we said, good. Salted caramel or vanilla. If you are a strawberry or watermelon person, they have that. It's just like, we're not fruit based, apparently.
No, I can't do the fruit unless it's the actual cutting of the fruit from the actual plant.
Yeah, like a
this
fresh cut
the fresh-
watermelon.
yes.
So you can get all these products and more at purepleasureshop.com. Use coupon code Shameless Sex to get 15% off. And if you come to our retreat, you'll get all these products too. So come to our retreat because
Hell
they will
yeah.
be in your
In your
goodie
basket,
bag.
in your basket,
in your
in your
basket,
pussy,
in your back door,
only consensually,
basket.
or your. It could be also on your penis. Yeah.
in your shaking bag.
Okay. So you ready for the bio?
Yes.
Erica Lemke is a certified sex and relationship coach, board certified sexologist, and author who helps midlife women and couples reclaim their sexuality, confidence, and connection. She recently appeared on season 2, episode 4 of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, where she led a liberating sex positive gathering for women from conservative backgrounds, helping them to rediscover their sexual selves. So if you want to learn more about Erica Lemke, go to sexcoachslc.com.
All right, everyone, it is interview time, and we are here with Erica Lemke. I did it, right? Did I
You
do it right?
did.
Shake and bake, April. Come on.
Good job.
Lemke. She is an amazing, wonderful human. She's a therapist, right? We could say that, right? You're the actual therapist. You work with people?
I was trained as a therapist, but
Coach.
I would consider myself a sexologist and a sex coach. Yes.
So this is one thing that I like to highlight because a lot of people are like, what's the difference between a therapist and a coach? I personally think coaches have more freedom to work with people outside of your state.
We
right?
do. I work
Yeah.
virtually, so I work with people all around the world. So
Yeah.
yeah. And coaching to me is just like where you are now. Let's give you the tools to get you to where you want to go. So,
Yes.
you know,
And
so it's
legally, I
action.
think you can
It's-
work with more people if you're a coach rather than
Exactly.
a therapist.
Just
right?
just in Utah, which is where you're
Yeah.
located now.
Right.
Erica was also just featured on the Secret Lives of, or the Lives of Mormon Wives. Am I saying?
Yeah, what's it
The
called?
Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Yeah, you got it. It was
That's
all in
good.
there.
That's good. I like the sound of
I
that.
love that.
And so we're going to get into that, everyone.
Oh yeah.
But you already heard a little bit about Erica in the intro and the bio. So Erica, can you please tell us and our listeners a little bit more about how you got to where you are today in the field of sexuality?
Yeah. Well, I think I always was just drawn to how people connected, whether it was with their bodies, with their partners, and no one was talking about, even though I was talking to a lot of people in the space of sex, people weren't feeling comfortable with asking questions. And I felt that I was because I'm trained as a marriage and family therapist, but there's such a gap. I think I had one class in human sexuality. So, there's not a lot of training that goes on in that field. So I had a very circuitous path. I have a gerontology degree. I have a kinesiology degree. I was a life and wellness coach. I was a trainer for a long time, but everyone was coming to talk to me about sex. I'm like, well, I don't mind talking about it, but I want the credentials to put my name up and say, this is really what I do, and the backing of good education behind it. So I went back to school in my late 40s and went
Hell
through
yeah to that.
went through actually during COVID. So there you go with that, right? So that was a whole other can of
That's
worms.
when we wrote the book. Shake and bake. You got to
Mhm.
just get in when you can.
Oh yeah. So I went back to school, went through Sex Coach University under the tutelage of Dr. Patty Britton, who is the mother of, she was like the pioneering force to get sex coaching off the ground. So I felt like I was in very good hands, and I just experienced so much pleasure and joy in really figuring out this is what I want to do for the rest of my damn life.
Yeah, word. Hey, I love that. Thank you for that word.
Shake and bake.
We met you. So I recall Blue Boutique, shout out to Blue Boutique in Salt Lake City, Utah. They've been around for a long time, since the 70s. And
Yeah, we love them.
we love them. Amy and I've done a lot of workshops there, play shops, and we've had, in my opinion, a lot of really great success speaking to the Mormon community, especially I know the Mormon community is spread out all over.
Or the ex-Mormons too.
/ ex-Mormons.
Yeah.
And this is the thing though, it's something that it's a topic that comes up a lot with maybe the Mormons that have left the church. I don't exactly know. And that's not what we're getting into, but I loved meeting you at Blue Boutique because we love going there because there's so many open-minded people there, and talking to you and what you were doing in terms of working with the Mormon community, especially, and I don't know if you're still in Salt Lake City, but especially in that particular area. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying that because like it's so necessary and people are hungry for information, and not even people that have left the Mormon faith. There's people in that like religious sector that do still care about sex education, and they're also married, and there's Christian people listening or whatever, atheist people listening. So this isn't about specifically being Mormon or not being Mormon or the Mormon faith and about sex, right? This is about talking to you about like a few different things, which I'm excited. But sex and religion is kind of an interesting topic because those two things aren't always married together, but they are.
See what you did there? Well done, sister wife.
Right. So when it comes to talking to you, this is really interesting because I haven't yet watched the show, but I have seen the album cover for The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. And you were recently featured in that show. And I want to talk to you more about that because now I'm going to go and look for either the episode or episodes. So will you talk about that experience? What were you doing there? What were you doing there? And how was that? Like, give us a little bit more intel.
Yeah, well, it is just so you know, it's season 2, episode 4, and it's called The Book of Taboo. You know, no stretch there. So it was basically a remove the taboo or break the taboo party that was co-hosted by 2 of the women who were on the show. And you know, they reached out to me. People asked, like, how do they find you? And I was like, yeah, how the hell did they find me? I think they found me through like Google. And
oh, really?
I lived in Salt Lake. They wanted someone local. They wanted someone who was not a therapist, though, that someone was more engaging, more action, you know, doing lots of different activities and things. So they found me. And within 3 weeks of them meeting and talking, I showed up and did the show. So 1 episode. I filmed for almost 4 hours. I probably featured maybe, I don't know, I had like a 15-minute segment within, but there was so much that we were potentially going to air. But, you know, they have just a smidge of time.
This is reality TV, though.
Reality TV.
Were you answering questions? What were you teaching
I was
them?
presenting. I was teaching them. So I basically stood up and I taught an entire, I mean, we did sensation play. It was interesting because they gave me a framework within which to work, but it's not scripted. Like you go in there and there are, you know, 10 cameras in front of your face. And it was like, hey, let's ready to go. Let's rock and roll. And yep. So I brought a lot of Uber Lube. So we did a Lube. We did a Lube. We did a Lube tasting, a Lube. But they didn't use a lot of what I presented. Yeah. What they did use was what they wanted to make really spicy was they brought in a sex chair, which was a surprise at the end of the show. And I got to tie one of the girls up and practice with one of my whips. And then I let the girls play with them as play with her too.
Spoiler alert, but there's way more that you can probably see.
Way more. Yeah.
This is amazing.
But it was so much fun. It was wild and wonderful. But what I will say, it was that I asked them, the first question was like, ladies, how many holes do we have?
What did they say?
Several said 2.
Ooh. I mean, I have way more than 2.
I know I do too. But I mean, it was just, and God bless them. I mean, they are wonderful women. They were really engaging, but also realizing how little they knew about anatomy. I got my vulva puppet. I got my clitoral demonstration. You know, I did the whole thing. Their eyes were like this.
I bet.
But also very kind of, there were some moments where people were getting a little catty, like middle school age girls. Like, come on, ladies, we're adults here. Let's learn and let's not be little bitches about it. Were they
ewing things? We're like, ew, no, that's gross.
Why would you be into that?
So there was a table behind me that had dildos. I brought all my fun stuff, my switches and my twitches and my, you know, ropes and all that kind of stuff. And I said, this is just a little bit of what you might be able to see in a sex shop. And you can hear that. I've never been to a sex shop. And it was kind of like,
Blue Boutique, everyone, Utah.
Blue
Come
Boutique,
on.
Absolutely. But the realization is then, you know, one of the women in their little cameo said, you know, we're freaks when we're married. And I thought, okay, if you're freaks when you're married, why aren't you going out and getting things spicy in the bedroom with your husband if that's what you want? So there was a lot of that dichotomy of like, ooh, you know, but I was like, wow, I got them and put them back in their place.
So why do you think though that, so I understand. So we're talking about religion specifically, like April said, not just Mormon religion or practices. So we're going to make this broad. Why do you think religious shame or sexual shame related to religion is so challenging for people to move through?
Well, because I think it's not just a cognitive, like a mental thing. It's like, I think it's cellular. I think if they've been brought up in that conditions, they're learning those messages very, very early on. And purity is attached to their worth. And so if they're, if they have sex before marriage, it's seemed unworthy, right? But that's like not okay. Even I think if they know intellectually that sex is okay, if they've been brought up in a culture where it's just like message after message saying it's bad, you're bad, and making that connection of that, I think that really screws it screws with people's heads. Totally. And then they don't really know how to express themselves sexually, because we are all sexual people. I don't care. I mean, from birth, we're sexual creatures, whether we want to admit it or not, but we are. And I think that everyone deserves pleasure, and pleasure is our birthright. But I think that there's a lot of shame when it comes to seeking that out, especially in this way.
Oh yeah. And I think like from the not even from the biblical standpoint, because I haven't looked at the Bible in quite a long time, right?
Did you read it back in the day?
Oh yeah, but I had like a comic book version, which was really helpful.
What I need.
Yeah. So this was like 3rd and 4th grade when that was what I had to lean into. So I have a deep appreciation for religion. I think that even no matter what you believe, as long as you lead with love, and it's not like because you're this, you fuck you, right? Like I have a problem with that. And this is not about my opinions, because that doesn't fucking matter. But what I will say is that it's thank you. But it's interesting because what I've learned, especially from like a person that is a vulva haver, let's say, or a child bearer, there's a lot of the pleasure piece was taken out, and in even like the conditioning that would go on prior to like even 100 years ago, but the conditioning was like, we're meant to bear children, and pleasure wasn't really a part of that. And like, you'd have to be like a sex worker that is the person that can have pleasure, or that's designed to be paid for delivering pleasure to someone else. But like, pleasure wasn't part of that journey. And I don't know. And I don't want to say that that's still the case with all religions. And I don't know, but like, I will say that I think that we're all a little bit more aware that there's a lot more going on other than being child bearers. And we were on a religious show.
Oh, yes.
Called
wait, what is it called? Oh my God, let me look this up.
It was with this
Peterson,
Jesse Peterson, like a reverend kind of dude that I think he was a reverend. He's in his 70s, and it was called The Fallen State.
Yes, The Fallen. Have you heard of it, Erica?
No, but I'm gonna look it up.
He was like trying to grill us, but he was actually very kind about it.
And he's not usually kind. He was kind of
we got really lucky.
But what we learned, like, it was very much like, sex is only for procreation and never for pleasure.
Remember some of his questions? So it's like, well, you guys teach everyone to be a bunch of sluts,
right?
And we're like,
April and I were. What did your mom do to deserve? Or what did your mom do to make your dad divorce her? And I was like,
so my dad hit her.
Yeah,
and she had to be So April and I were like pinching each other though. Yeah. Like number one, try not to laugh. Number two, being respectful of like we're still having an engaging conversation.
We were actually on right before. The woman Cassie that took P. Diddy to court that started the whole thing.
Went on the show. Oh my God!
Her lawyer was on the show and walked off.
So we're that cool. We went on that same show. God,
yes. So the point, it's a very intense show that we were grilled and we didn't have any prepping, and he has like a lot of producers. And why I'm bringing this up is because having like you get surrounded with your probably people that are most like you in terms of what your beliefs are. At least that's what I work to surround myself in that, because I don't want to like be battling for like being right or having to battle for what I believe every day. That sounds exhausting. But like in terms of sexuality, it is interesting when religion comes into play, especially old school religious beliefs, whatever sector you're in. So bringing it back to this shame piece, that's like this, it's kind of like this undoing, because there's times where I use a vibrator and have an orgasm on my own and feel guilt about it. Like even now, I'm like, why do I feel guilty? Like, it's not like I did it. It's very strange.
Hey, fabulous folks. Let's dive into a pleasure announcement just for you. Introducing VB Health, supplements crafted by doctors and verified by third-party testing, ensuring you get the real deal and no gimmicks.
I am going to testify to that, because every single morning I take my soaking wet capsules. It's a blend of prebiotics, probiotics, and vitamins that maintain my vaginal health and keep me feeling amazing. I haven't missed a day in over a year, and my pussy and my partner feel the difference.
All right, shake and bake. And my new go-to is their new Drive Boost that works with my soaking wet routine. This clean, plant-based libido enhancer works for everyone. No mysterious ingredients, just pure nutrients that tell your brain, let's go.
Drive Boost works with the Load Boost formula too. So for those of you with penises, listen up, because get yourself some Load Boost right meow, because it increases semen volume, supports sperm health, and even enhances your load's taste. Yummy, yummy. When my partner skips it, I can tell. So go ahead, try it for yourself. Do a taste test. I promise you.
Yum, yum. So what are you waiting for? Because if you are not satisfied, you have 100 days for a full refund. So you've got nothing to lose but some tasty pleasure and big loads.
That's a lot to lose. Okay. So if you're ready to upgrade, head to vb.health and enter Shameless to grab 10% off right now. That's vb.health, code Shameless for juicier pussies, tastier loads, and more bedroom excitement. Check out the episode description for the link. That's vb.health, y'all. So coming back to this episode, and like specifically to what you feel most like, I guess what you feel like, not only like where your expertise lies in the most was like the most with the Mormon folks and being part of that religious background, but like also teaching these folks that probably have shame and are conditioned to think that sex might be bad or they're not deserving of pleasure. So what do you think when you're dealing with whatever you feel most like confident and comfortable at talking about in terms of navigating the shame part of religious beliefs and sexuality? What do you think some tips are for navigating sexual shame when it's related to religious upbringing?
It's a great question. Well, I think
that was 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
We got there, though.
That's okay. That's all right. Usually it's me, the long-winded one. So I'm glad for you to take it there, April.
No
one's
long-winded compared to April and I. Yeah. Whenever you're with us, we will always win.
I love it. Well, I think it's important to be curious and not critical. So like, even look at the shame and like, how did that protect you? Maybe when you were younger, right? Like maybe that's a way to actually open a door to like actually starting to heal, because when we hide, it stays and it manifests, right? So I think if we name it and can speak to it, even if like you're literally like, you're talking to yourself or you're talking to the mirror and you do a little exercise like, hey, shame, see ya, like you're there, right?
Fuck you.
Yeah. But maybe it taught you, obviously it taught you some lessons at some point in life, right? So, but how do you then take that and then not let that, it's informed how you got to be here, but it doesn't have to define you. And so I think that you can address that. And I think anything, just speaking out loud can be so fucking powerful sometimes, because holding it in can just make the shame just continue to stay in that bubble and then put it down and just keep spiraling down. So, but also too, reclaim your sensuality, man. Like just reclaim your body. I come from a very sensual pleasure perspective where I'm asking people, tell me all the senses and what, like lavender for me, I can be anywhere and I smell lavender, I'm in my body instantly. It could be for a fleeting moment, but I'm present. And I think being present and honoring that within our bodies is so incredibly powerful. And you know what? We don't need to have permission for that. I think a lot of people feel that they do, but if we were just to be inherently like, what is going to give me pleasure today? And not just sexual pleasure. I think there's so much non-sexual pleasure that can build on that. So that when we do get into a sexual context, we've got more information about our own bodies and sensations and how we respond. And I think that can be really important and really powerful.
So you're saying is part of that creating practices where, like you said, because this doesn't have to be sexual. Like you just sniff lavender and all of a sudden you feel more connected to yourself. So are you saying that just being more connected to yourself in general, even if it's not a sexual thing, can help with the healing the sexual shame?
I think 100%. And I think that's a lot of the work that I do with my clients too, is really embodying that. But also that means we have to feel safe in our bodies, right? So I think that's part of it too. When you can connect with your body in a sensual way, you're feeling vulnerable, you're feeling open, you're feeling safe. And I think that is a great translation from sensual into the sexual and the erotic. I think anyway. Yeah. And honestly too, I think the other thing too is just to address, like, seek out safe spaces, seek out community, seek out a therapist, seek out a coach, arm yourself with support, because we can't do this. Healing, I don't think happens alone. I think it happens in community. So the more that it can be addressed and you have someone who's there to support, someone asks a question that maybe you're scared to, you're not alone. And I think that can really help with the healing journey.
So what do you think about purity culture? Because point number one that you were just stating, and there's something about this, like the purity idea, and you know, and
because it's tied to it's tied to your self-worth, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's like you're either a good or bad person is what I hear. Like you're either like clean or dirty. So the question though, I'm going to throw you for a loop with this one. Is there anything good about purity culture? Are there relationships that could be better supported with purity culture as a part of their language or like the undertones?
You know, I think if people, I think they have to have agency around that. So if they support that and that feels honoring to them, then I'd say yes, because I think for some people that is okay. You know, it's honoring their own autonomy. And I think that's important. We can choose to be celibate. We can choose to not be celibate, right? But when it's forced, when it feels like that's the only way to live, then I think that's the problem.
So adding to that layer then. So when something is forced, then it's more problematic then is what I'm hearing from you. Like the people that you're working with is when things were forced, whether it's
or fear-based, right? Or fear-based, right? So not forced. Obviously there definitely is physical force at times, but also just fear-based. Like when you're taught from a place of fear, you're going to have a very different reaction if it's talking from a place of love and support and openness and again, autonomy. I think that's a huge part of it.
And I think, Amy, when you're talking about force, I don't think you were even talking about like
not physical,
sexual.
No.
You're talking about like
emotional.
Or these like views were forced on you. Like this is what
like
you were
you
born
can't have
into.
sex until you're married.
Right. So and if you do, that you're bad or this viewpoint. And look, like, so I have a out of the box question for you and forgive me if it's going to come across as maybe a little crass or something, but
bring it.
So because of the work that I've done and Amy, and like even before Amy had gone to Utah, I'd been there several times educating the staff at Blue Boutique and some other different various retailers there. And one thing that I had heard was with anal sex and Mormon culture, that like that was part of like the journey of like keeping your purity and not getting pregnant or not
pregnant,
like,
loophole. It's a loophole,
right? So I was always like, hey. I would like hold up a butt plug and I was like, so butt plugs keeping Mormons fucking pure since 1875, and I don't really know the year, but I was
John Smith, whatever.
I was like, it was kind of a joke in my mind, not making fun of like any of like the folks that believe that, but I'm wondering, is there any truth to that? Is this something that
are Mormons really doing this? Is this like a thing?
Which is, it's great for them, but I just wanted, do you know anything about this? Anal and
we both selfishly would like to know more about this.
Well, a couple things. So I used to work for, I was a volunteer for a committee, a sexual health committee for the Salt Lake City School District. So we got to hear all kinds of stories about what's going on in the younger, like high school and middle school. And, I don't want to say elementary school, but I'm sure there are things going on that we don't want to know about, but it's true. It is true. And just that the problem with that, and, I still have my t-shirt that says slower than slow and then slower than that.
Hey, that's our tagline.
I know it is, because working for Blue Boutique, I would have people, and I actually did a self-imposed internship. I made no money doing it, but the reason I did is because I wanted to talk to anyone who walked in the door. I wanted them to feel comfortable with whether it was anal, first orgasm, like, whatever it may be. And anal honestly was probably the number one thing that people came into asking about. How to train, all this stuff. But the problem is these young people, they're just, spitting in their hand and, and honestly, I think that's what's so horrible is that these messages are being put out there that, okay, this is the way that we're going to get around this. But, there are issues that happen with that, like physical issues of, girls being ripped apart essentially, anally because there was no lube but they endured it. And I think that's the other part of it is the endurance of pain. And I know that's totally not what we're talking about, but I think
it is
really,
it's 100% relevant.
It's really important to address because a lot of people that I work with, they just think it's normal. It's painful, but I don't want to say anything. I don't want to stop him. I don't want him to, lose his erection, or maybe I'm going to hurt his ego or reject him. So I think that is so important to address. And just the whole concept of damn consent.
Yeah.
It's really important to talk about. And not a lot of people do still.
And one of the things with religion, right? There's so many religions. April probably knows how many religions are there in the world. I mean, like,
well, look, that's like a pretty loaded question because there's different sectors of each. Like Islam, there's like Sunni and Shiite. So it's like you have to think about. There's a lot. Yeah, there's like a lot. But if you're talking about like the core religious group that have been around for thousands of years, like
Jewish,
but even Catholicism came like way after Christianity, and Islam was like there's a lot of things, and Judaism was even before those. So when you're talking about religion, like
Buddhism, forgot about them,
which is very, and then there's Hindu, and this isn't about, and then there's also like different variations of those, like different sectors of each of those. So and how much people practice, but like each one does have their own value system, and it could be a core value. But even when you get to Old Testament, New Testament shit with religion, right? It's variable, and people take whatever they want from whatever scripture they're reading and can apply it into various ways, right?
And most of them are not like, sex is amazing, go have fun, enjoy it, get all the pleasure, right? Like even like, and this is not like a Buddhist episode, but like Buddhism is indifference, right? Or some like non-attachment thing, as opposed to like Tantra, which actually is technically a religion, like one of the older religions, that's very much like, yes, sex, pleasure, orgasms, fuck yeah.
So Judaism can be there, like a lot of like in the Jewish religion, like marriage, and when like Shabbat, for instance, is meant for sitting at home, not turning any electricity on, and
have sex.
And yes, it's for like a lot of like childbearing situations, but it's also like tune in and read and
sounds like a good Saturday.
Enjoy your partner, yeah. So and that being said, like look, this is even just scratching the surface, but like I don't know with particularly Mormons, and there's also like, and even like in separate, but Jehovah's Witnesses, I don't even know with that, like those types of religions that I don't have a lot of information. Scientology, I don't fucking know. Like, I don't know what their scripture says. I don't have enough hours in the day to start studying all these things, and I don't have a religious major of any sort. So when it comes to, from your experience, Erica, and no matter what religion you are, I think there's a great place in this world, and especially this world in 2025, to still have pleasure, right? Even if you're, even if you're in a war-stricken country,
and pleasure doesn't have to be fearful. And I think that's the thing too. Is like I think so many. I mean, especially I think even people who want to talk to their kids or not talk to their kids about sex, they're even worried about talking about the pleasure aspect, right? So I think that's the other part of fear-based abstinence. Don't get pregnant, don't get her pregnant, but they don't talk about the pleasure aspect of how connective, how, just incredibly like warm and inviting and like connected with yourself and with your partners, how fucking amazing that can be. So I do think that it's still laden, I think, in fear, even from when you talk about it from a pleasure perspective, because my God, can you imagine if everyone had pleasure? What would the world look like? Right?
Entirely different. And also like there's people that find religion in pleasure, right? They find like, I feel like I was having sex with God, or I'm one with God, or whatever that means to you, right? So like there is a major overlap.
If love was the religion, just like Bob Marley with Rastafarianism, which we're going to leave to the side, which had a lot of like terribly like
a little homophobic.
Yeah. And it was very secular in a lot, which is the point, but it's like love and leading with love. And like, so this is the thing I wanted to ask you before, Amy. I know Amy has another question, but when it comes to, let's say, people that are listening right now, somebody has some conditioning, or they're like, oh, I didn't know I had permission, and I'm listening to this, and this is the first time, and I grew up XYZ, I don't care what, whatever they grew up as. And I want you to just speak to the fact of what you've experienced, the facts that you've experienced with your people that you've worked with in your sector. I don't want to call it sector because that sounds weird, but we're talking about religion, George, sector seems right. So what have you experienced with the conditioning fact in like opening up folks that have been conditioned to feel like they don't deserve pleasure, and how can someone change that listening that wants to change that?
Yeah. And, and I should have said for the outset too, just so all y'all know too, that I am not Mormon. I am not an LDS. So I just want to make that known that I don't come from that lens, but I also think it's helpful for, especially in this work, to have other lenses through which to see, right? So a lot of the work, if the clients for me, if they cannot get past, like they can't move forward and look at goals, sexual goals. So that's kind of my job, is to let's figure out what your sexual goals are and how we're going to achieve them. If they can't even get to that place, they're just stuck in whatever trauma maybe happened in them in the past. I would, because that's not within my scope of practice, I would want to make sure that they talk to a sex therapist who can deal with those issues and get that healing done initially. And then coming to me to work on the stuff that now, where do we go from here? And I think that is the work, a lot of what I do with my clients. But I see clients of all faiths. I work for a telehealth company, so I see clients all around the world. So I have a lot of clients who are in arranged marriages, who are trying to conceive, and they've known each other for 2 months, and they're first sexual partners, and so that's a whole other landscape through which to work, right?
Wowsies, yeah.
Yeah, but it's also a lot of fun, and I think part of it too is you have to meet them where they're at, because we can't do anything differently, right? We have to meet them from where they are right now. What tools do they need? Do they need to see a therapist first before they come see me? Then I'm going to get the resources that they need to do that. And then if that's not the case, let's work together. Let's figure that stuff out. Let's get rid of that shame sphere and really focus on, what do I need for myself? How do I need to connect with me? And then how do I connect with my partners in a way that is effective and loving and just fucking badass?
Fact. Most pussy owners need some sort of clitoral stimulation to orgasm, and many are not having orgasms from penetrative sex.
Say what?
I know, right? This is one of the many reasons why we are obsessed with OMG Yes. Not only has it changed our lives in the orgasm department, but I've been recommending OMG Yes to my clients for years, and it's completely changed their sex lives as well. OMG Yes features scientific research of real vulva owners, aka women, showing techniques to pleasure the pussy. They turn the research into tasteful, educational short videos, animated modules, and infographics for easy visual learning.
They call it OMG Yes for a reason, because OMG Yes is for anyone who wants to learn about pussy pleasure or take it to the next level. Whether you're a beginner or someone who wants to take your orgasms from good to mind-blowing, then you need to check out OMG Yes. They have 3 seasons: external pleasure, internal pleasure, and sex toys. It's not a subscription service, y'all, so you don't need to download a single thing. And it's great for partners who want to pleasure that pussy too. And for listeners of our show, OMGS is offering 10% off when you go to omgyes.com/shameless. Again, that's omgyes.com/shameless to receive 10% off unlimited access towards enhancing your pleasure power forever. Newsflash, everybody. We are picky about our lubes.
Can we say uber picky?
Yes, we can. And let me tell you all why Uber Lube is our absolute favorite lube ever. Uber Lube is a luxurious silicone lubricant that I want all over my body. Yes, it's designed for sex because it enhances intimacy while allowing you to still feel the skin-on-skin contact, but it feels so good that I want it everywhere. Uber Lube is long-lasting, leaves your skin feeling velvety smooth, and it's there when you want it, but then it dissipates when you're done.
Yes! Aside from using Uber Lube for all of my sexy sessions, and I use it all the time, I also use it for massages, for my hair frizzies, to prevent chafing, and it brings out the color of your beautiful tattoos. Thousands of doctors and therapists in the US alone are recommending Uber Lube to their patients because it's body-friendly, less likely to change the pH, and has vitamin E so it feels moisturizing on the skin. Uber Lube has no flavor or scent, which means it's also great for oral sex. And it comes in a beautiful glass bottle with a pump top, which means easy access to Pleasure Town.
Want to see why we think Uber Lube is the best lube in the world? Then go to uberlube.com and use discount code SHAMELESS to get 10% off and free shipping. Again, that's uberlube.com right now with code SHAMELESS for 10% off and free shipping.
I know I was reading this in your bio, the power of yes for you is really powerful, very important. And what we're talking about also is some no's. We're talking about some no's to like no shame, no religion, no the thing that told me I should be a certain way that doesn't work for me. But it seems like yes is a big part of moving through that. So this is an open-ended question of like, how do all these work together in your work or in this type of work?
Well, I think when we say no to someone else, I think that's saying yes to us, right? And I used to be a people pleaser, and so I said yes to everyone else, and that was a big no for me. And it took me a long time to realize that that was not serving me, and it did not do well for me in my life. So I think that's just like that radical act of healing of saying yes to you. It's expansion, it's liberation. And it's okay to say no. It's okay to say no to somebody because we don't have to please everyone. I think the important thing is how do we set the tone for ourselves? And if it's a hell yes for us, then it's a hell yes.
Yeah.
But if it's a no, it's a fuck no.
And that's okay. That's okay to have one of those.
And that talks about setting really sexy boundaries, right?
Yeah.
That's a hell of a good boundary.
Can you give us an example of a sexy boundary? So if I want to be like, I have sexual shame and I'm like, I feel like I'm a people pleaser and I should, April's like, so can I put my dick in your ass? And I'm like, I should do that because I want to make April happy. Mm-hmm. What would be a good?
I don't have a dick, so it would be very difficult.
But dildo.
I put one on, yes.
All kinds of things.
Don't take it so literally, April.
Be like, take this dick.
Well, I think that is something where sometimes women just have to speak up for themselves, even if it's a matter of, I want to please my partner. Again, going back to that endurance, right? Enduring pain or enduring something that we don't want to do. We have to get really comfortable about saying no in that context because that is taking our agency into account. And I know that's not easy for a lot of people. I think it's practice, right? And it's standing up for yourself and like, I'm fucking worth this. I'm worth not getting railed because I don't want that right now. And I think that is so okay to do.
That's
I know
so interesting. I'm worth not getting railed because I don't want that right now. But like that's valid though.
But it is valid. But yeah. I think the problem is that I think there's so much of like and then also just safety. Again, going back to safety and protection, right? Some people do that because they might fear that they're going to get abused or something else really, really unfortunate is going to happen to them. So, I think it's a really slippery slope sometimes. But I think at the end of the day, if we aren't saying yes to ourselves and being the people pleasers and allowing someone else to basically live for us, then that's not a life.
Thank you. And I am 100% feeling that accuracy to what that is. And we had, one thing that's like really resonated with me over the years, we've had Reed Mihalko on the show and learning from his viewpoint on rewarding from the opposite side. So when someone, if you're in a partnership or like a sexual experience with someone or other folks, and someone shares a no, like thanking them for their no.
It's like celebrating it.
Right. Yeah. Making it sure that they know that that's okay. And that's like, cool. You know what you want, right? Like, because a lot of times, especially if in playtime or like sexual experiences, like it's okay to not know if you're going to like something or not like something, but like a lot of times you may know it within yourself or that you are getting a hard no. If it's a maybe, it's a different thing. But there's been times where I haven't liked something and I felt bad. And then I'm like, wait a second. And my partner has now learned to also be like, cool, awesome. Like, thanks for like having your agency and advocating for yourself and what you like or what you don't like, and not feeling like I always feel great about not feeling bad about it. So I love the perspective. Yes, like have like that ability, but to say no, but also if you're in a partnership with someone, like honor their no's just as if, number one, that it's just as if they were saying yes, meaning like, yes, but like, thank you. Now I know more about you. Check that box. Cool. We can revisit that later if it feels good to you. And if not, like, good to know. I love you even more, or like on to the next thing. Because there's like a Rubik's Cube of shit we can do.
Yeah. Well, and April, you make a really good point, because I love when I can get the partner in the room, because then we can have these conversations. And I think that's what, if it's a heterosexual couple, these men need to understand. And it's not like they're being rejected or that they're not good lovers or, whatever else they're thinking in their heads. It's not about their egos, but they get to then understand that she can say no with love. You can accept that with love. There's a whole other shit, like you just said. There's a lot of other shit you can be doing that works for both of you. So find what works, right? And I love that. And then find partners who respect and love you, and and you're okay if they're okay saying no.
Yeah, and they're also celebrating you being you, right? Like you're not just an extension of me or what I think you should be, and hence the whole premise of Shameless Sex.
Well, isn't nuance like one of the most sexy things for the human brain anyway? So
yeah,
be even more turned on knowing that your partner,
like, I love you just being you,
and like what can we do next? Or yeah.
Oh, and again, going back to setting sex, I think, having boundaries and standing up for yourself, I think is really fucking sexy.
It is. Yeah. And I think we're also discussing or sharing there's a difference between lovingly stating boundaries versus like, you're doing this wrong. I don't like this. You're bad at this, right? They're very different things. Although I will say sometimes we might have experiences where we do need to be like, no, just no, stop now. No, right? Like,
ow. I've done like, ow, no. Yeah. Like, I'm like, whoa. And then
that's like, sometimes all the fluffy stuff doesn't have to apply.
And sometimes I'm like, no, that didn't feel good. Like, let's move on. But it's not like, it's not anger. I'm like protecting my body said no. So let's move forward. But I still feel sexy. Like I still want to get into sexy time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And how empowering can that be for someone to be able to do that? And for the other partner to be able to listen and respect those sexy boundaries.
Yeah. Yeah, and to be met in that. So the work that you do, so you don't just work with Mormons. Everyone, we know this. She doesn't just work with Mormons. She does not just do work around people with religious shame. So you work with people from all these sides, and you obviously got hired to go on this show that was related to being a Mormon wife. But tell us more about the work that you do, like the people you work with, like who can come to you, like what does that look like?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I have a private practice in Salt Lake. So my love is I love working with, women who are like midlife and beyond and their partners. So, there's so many transitions that are happening at that stage, and I can say because I'm in it right now. So I totally relate to all that, but then just how things shift over time. And, we have ailments, shit happens with our bodies. We have some limitations. How do we work around with that instead of saying, well, we can't have sex because I have a bad back? Let's figure out the positions that work for you. Let's work on some other things that are going to work. And sex isn't just P and the V. We know that, right? There are so many other ways to have sex. So let's look at the spectrum of what sex looks like and break it down. And then this is all that you get to choose from. So I love that. I also do workshops for women right now called the Sensual Salon. So I'll take women through 2 and maybe 3 hours if I'm working with a woman who does sound bathing in a pool, which is really, really damn cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Doing, and then doing a little bit of everything, sensation play, movement, erotic movement, education. I think all of this is being in community for me is so healing. And I think that's why probably what I love the most is working with these women in workshops, because they're around other women who are curious. They may not be the one raising their hands and speaking up, but there's someone around who's going to ask a question. She's like, thank God I'm not alone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I just love it. I love it. And I'm going to be trying to do a retreat maybe next year as well, and kind of delving more into it because I work so much with couples. I want to work with couples in person and take them for, 2 or 3 or 4 days and just let them do all the fun stuff. Love fun stuff. Yeah.
It's awesome. We do a retreat. So we were like, please, do that.
I've seen your stuff.
But you do it too, please. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The world will be a better place.
The more the merrier, I think, with all of these workshop / excursion / the therapeutic methods, coaching, all of it is so necessary. And this is why we love having folks on our show, giving people all of the tools that are out there and available. And so if folks want to work with you or they want more of information of how they can reach you, can you provide links or anything else that you are maybe doing anytime soon? This is 2025. And obviously there's evergreen. This show is evergreen. So anything else you're doing that you want to share? And thank you, Erica.
Thank you, April. So I am actually doing an in-person workshop. I've been out of commission. I had foot surgery like 3 months ago. So I'm just getting back into the groove of things. She's now.
Back.
I'm back, baby. But actually August 27th, I'm going to be doing a sensual salon in Holiday, Utah. But the best way that people can find me is either sexcoachslc.com or they can go on Instagram. I have too many Instagram handles, but Sex Coach SLC or I am Erica Lemke, and then all the links from the bios, and it shows all the other things I do, I've got free PDFs and then just upcoming stuff on workshops, and people can reach out to me that way. I will also plug my book, even though I don't plug it very often. I wrote a book
your best
in
plug. Go.
2020 called Feel Sexy Again, The Ultimate Guide to Reclaiming Your Sexual Confidence. So come on, and it's on every, Amazon. You can find it pretty much anywhere, but I love this work, and thank you for letting me be on this platform too, because the work that you ladies do is so phenomenal, and you are reaching so many people to have conversations like this, and for people to understand that there are ways they can get out of situations that they're in, or they want to learn about something. Like, there's so much available. So thank you for making all of this happen.
Thank you. I mean, we wanted you on the show a couple of years ago, and we finally got you. So yeah,
yay,
you're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And you know what? It's awesome to have a conversation with someone that not only is helping folks of like, no matter where they are and where they're at in their not only religious journey, but their journey of life. But it's nice to hear what you're doing for yourself on top of what you're doing for people, because it sounds like you've had your own sexual, like, I guess, like, I hate the word journey all the fucking time, but like your own difficulties with finding your sexual path. And I think that is like the stuff that like greatness is made of, because all of us, like, I never think of that I'm like healing anyone, but it's nice when people don't come from this I'm better than you and I know everything standpoint. And that's
fuck
awesome.
that.
Fuck that shit, man.
Yeah.
Case, no, because that's not real. It's not real.
It's more shame though.
Exactly.
You're like, well, if you don't fit this mold, then here you go. You're not right, or you're wrong, or you're broken.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
we're all human.
We're all human. I want to commend you for sharing that.
Yes, everyone, you're all humans.
I don't know. There's some robots, I'm pretty sure.
Aliens too.
Yeah, you know,
podcast.
So you listening out there, check out the links in the site on shamelesssex.com, or in the link in the show notes. We'll have Erica, all of her handles, and also how you can reach her on her website. But Erica Lemke, everyone, Lemke, but Lemke.
That's what you said. It's for Parisian.
We love all of our listeners just as much as we love the guests that are on our show. But it does take all of you to listen and to pass on the word and to like us on whatever channel you're listening, because that is a free tool for you. This is a free tool for you. And even if you paid for Spotify, we don't get any of that money. Okay.
Yeah, we don't. We don't make any money off Spotify. If you're wondering.
So your reviews though do help us just appear more in the ever shadow banning process that we go through for content that has sex in the name. So we need you to keep this podcast alive. So without you, there would be no us. There would be no Erica on the show right now. There'd be Erica still, but not on the show. So I'm counting on you. And if you don't give us 5 stars, I come and find you. I'm going to find you. I'll still give you a big hug and wrap you up with no shame, but I will find you. Okay. So
a loving non-shame hug.
Yeah. A loving non-shame hug. I might fit.
Erica's going to get you as a sandwich, right?
Yeah. And one more thing. I didn't mention this, but I want to come back around. No, and just say, if people have not watched The Secret Life of the Mormon Wives, it is now Emmy nominated for the first time. It's like for both for outstanding unscripted reality show.
Oh my God.
Season 2, episode 4, The Book of Taboo.
And what platform can folks find it on?
Hulu and Disney Plus, I think, are the only options right now.
I'm going home and watching it on Hulu.
Damn it.
In April, go to her. Well, I'll give you my Hulu.
I just saw YouTube.
Or just have a sleepover, ladies. Come on. Just get together and have a sleepover. Yeah.
Dude, I like Hulu. I love Hulu listening people, but dude, I just bought YouTube TV. It's so much fucking better. And YouTube, if you're listening,
YouTube hates sex though too.
Yeah, but I'm not watching sexy things on there. I'm just watching
Hulu actually
YouTube
is somewhat cool with sex.
I don't know. Either way,
we're
not sponsored by any of them, but I want to say that's great. So Hulu. Yeah, I'll look at it.
YouTube.
It'll have commercials. Damn it. So, but speaking of commercials, listen to all of our ads and buy the stuff, because guess what? That also helps keep this podcast alive. I'm done preaching and I'm done talking anymore to you all about sex, because you have to review us and then we'll talk to you
until next week.
Yeah, because we're gonna see you next Tuesday, y'all. Oh, check out our premium content too. That's only $5. Ciao for now.
To learn more, go to shamelesssex.com.
And for 15% off some of our favorite sex toys, use code SHAMELESSSEX at purepleasureshop.com.